pain in the side of the hip when you're lying down is often referred to as hip bursitis. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing what it is, what to avoid, and what to start doing instead. So as we begin, we always start with, well, what is a bursitis? It is an inflammation of a little fluid-filled sac that lives on the edge of the leg bone right over here. And something only becomes inflamed if something else is not working correctly. And in this case, it is a stress of the tendon, which is coming onto the leg bone right around that hip area where you'll be feeling the soreness, and coming from the gluteal muscles, which are living over there. So when these areas of muscle tension are there, often you'll want to stretch it. So that's often a figure 4 stretch or a crossover stretch, but that's actually going to create a little bit more aggravation to the area. And instead what we need to be doing is creating a little bit more strengthening of these gluteal muscles, which is what today's class is going to be focusing on. Some other key things to think about not doing is, 1, avoiding to lie on your side while it's super inflamed. You can always put a cushion underneath if you want to, but in today's video, we're not going to do side lying work so that we don't just make it worse. However, in your everyday, if you're sitting with your legs crossed, you're putting that whole area on stretch, which is going to be an aggravating symptom. The same as if you're standing up and crossing your legs, don't do that. The last version to think about is when you are at night sleeping on your side, if that's what you do, when you have your knees bent like this, the top leg is going to be dropped down, again, putting length and stretch onto that area. So my advice is that we're going to create a knee pillow, which I will put a link on below. That'll be your support to make sure that you're not stressing that area out. All right, so let's get to it. As you can see, there's quite a lot of things that I recommend that we start having in our at-home repertoire, and I'll link a video as to what 5 tools I use at home or recommend that you have at home so that you are able to do a lot of the things that I share. You've got to move there. So what we're going to address first is releasing. So I like to release an area that is tight, and then we put in the correct function and form to strengthen the area. So for our first move, we're going to be making use of a foam roller. So a great investment to have at home, plenty of things to do, lots of videos on my channel that you can use foam roller exercises for. So whenever the area is inflamed, you don't want to be on it. So we're going to address the areas around it. So let's just say for today's example, my right hip is going to be my aggravated hip. So you're going to come below the hip line or below where that point is, and you're going to walk yourself up and down the side of your thigh. Now, there are many muscles around this area. Our point is to release those muscles. So adding a little turn forward just to get a little bit more on the front side of your leg, turning yourself a little bit more backward to get on the back side. As I mentioned, heaps of muscles around, so we're targeting all over the place. Then you can come onto your front position, and I'll just put my leg to the side so you can see that position, and going on to the front position of that thigh. So when you're on the front aspect, and I'll just do that facing you this way, what happens is you're going to be addressing muscles at the front edge of the hip, which are also very important to release in not creating that stress around the bursa. Obviously, doing both sides is very beneficial, because when you do have inflammation on one side, like it is with the bursa, the other side's going to be working a lot harder to compensate. So also giving yourself release, because at the end of the day, we're looking for balance in all of the structures. So you can do the same thing again, creating, if your body doesn't like doing the way my body is doing it, you can do, double legs instead, and getting the roller to go all the way up and down the thighs. All right, so that would be just from the roller's perspective. And then you can have any of these tools. I do recommend both of them because they serve different functions. But if you only have one or the other, then just use that. So this ball is a soft, squishy ball. This is a Franklin Method ball. Again, I'll put the links for all of these products below. And what you're going to start with is sitting onto the affected leg side. So you're going to roll around the area of the back of the pelvis. So right now we are a little bit lower down. We're kind of this area over here. And again, really important that these muscles are all looser than what most people enjoy. We're then going to shift so that we're lying on the side, and you'll end up lying about there on the pelvis, like so. So your bursa would be down here. So we're not on the bursitis area, the inflammation. We're going to be higher up. And as you do that, again, my ball seems to be slipping out of me today. You're going to bend into that affected leg. So we're on a pressure point right where that glute is. The sciatic nerve is close by, so please be mindful as you're doing these releases that you are not creating searing pain or hot or, whatever those flashes are that people can get with sciatic pain. You're going to push your leg away and bring it back. So again, as I mentioned, we're not on the bursa. Be very careful that you're not in that area, but just getting a little bit of movement through this zone. Now, many people, again, we'll do the other side. Many people will choose to go for injections because it can be that painful and that debilitating that you can't walk and move through life well. And of course, that's an option for people, but also these stretches, releases, and movement patterns we're going to put in are also very important so that you are actually addressing the issue and not just putting on a band-aid, like I like to call it, because once the injection wears off, have we actually addressed why you are in that position anyway? Onto the side and then pressing out and in. As we felt with the roller, the two sides can feel very different from each other, and they are as beneficial to do the releasing and the mobilizing as we're here. All right, so now we don't need tools. That's great. So again, as I mentioned, it's very important that you can do the releasing before you do the strengthening of the work. There, you're going to have to move. So we're going to start lying down onto your back and resting your body to the floor. So just checking in that everything feels good as you lie yourself down. And you're going to go with your feet. This is important. Where are your hips? Where is your hip joint? So we want to line that up. Most people think the hip joints are right out here, but they're actually quite narrow to the inside of your pelvis. So if you imagine the space of a fist between the knees and the ankles, that's kind of the alignment we're looking for. And you're going to start with just a rolling of the pelvis back into the floor and forward. So we're now getting the bony structures working correctly. Being on the back really allows your body to not use the normal patterns and tensions that can appear when we are up in gravity. And then we're going to do a tilt to the left and the right. So as we're tilting over, there's a little lift of the hip, but I'm not swinging the hip all the way over to the side. So just getting a little bit of dropping of one side and dropping to the other side. And then we're going to make a full circle. So rolling around the back of the sacrum, which is the back part of the pelvis, and just going as smoothly as you can in each direction. I'm just doing 3 circles in each way. Feel free to do more if it feels great in your body. And then coming to find a balanced position again, where you feel very calm around the back of the body. From here, put your fingers, thumb onto the ribs, middle finger down onto your hip bone, and keep that space the same as you start to now open your leg out in the direction of the floor and then bringing the leg back up again. So as we change from side to side, your aim is to keep these points steady, to keep the leg that's not moving. I know that sounds so simple, but you'll be surprised at how much the leg wants to move away from you. And if you're feeling pretty confident with that, then you can rest your arms where it feels more comfortable. But just giving yourself some of that tactile feedback is very beneficial to help your brain start to identify what is the joint I'm using, where am I supposed to be feeling it, and then bringing yourself back to your starting point. From here, we lay the arms long next to your side. It doesn't matter whether your palms are up or down. You just choose what feels comfortable. And we're going to go into a bridge, which means we're going to raise the hips off of the floor, lifting up into the air, and then lowering your body back down again. Now, I enjoy the articulating bridge, which means I roll through all the segments available to me. But if you know that's not available to you, because there are some conditions in the spine that would not be enjoying this so much, you can just push the hips towards the ceiling and then lower the hips back down again. Both of these moves are acceptable and very beneficial, so just use the one that is suitable for you. All right, so part of the reason of these hips not working well is there's a bit of weakness. So far, everything we've done has already started to waken that area up. As we move forward now with the next moves, they're going to be a bit more challenging. So this is important that you don't feel a drop happen in your hips. And if you're not ready for it, just keep doing the bridging as I just did. So we're going to be picking the pelvis up again and holding your position high. And we're going to go with one leg lifting up. So in order to lift the leg off of the floor, the other leg has got to do all of the work. Put that foot down and then switch sides. So as you're doing this again, you might like to touch those areas that we had before to make sure that as you're floating a leg up and down, you're not dropping your hips up and down. So the same distance from floor to bottom is maintained as you are doing your alternating legs. And if you're following with me, make sure you're not going too fast. Go at the pace I'm going. I've got one more to go on each side. And then returning everything back to the mat and coming towards the floor. And then from here, we're just going to go over to a side, usually your non-affected side, roll over and press yourself up into a sitting position. So from here, we're going to make our way onto all fours. So picking up from our last exercise, you'll see the correlation happening soon. We've got our hands under our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips. So we're going to be sending our leg up toward the ceiling with a bent knee position, almost like you're trying to put your foot on the sky, and then bringing the knee back down and alternating sides. So this is just like our bridge was, lifting a knee up and down, but we've got it in a different orientation with space and gravity. So there will be different work happening. So as we're picking the leg up, the one here on the floor is stabilizing us, and the one lifting to the ceiling is getting activated. So we have 3 gluteal muscles, glute minimus, medius, and maximus. And, we're working all of them just in different ways with each other. We've got another one to go to each side, and then bringing your knee back down towards the floor. From here, we're going to send your left arm through the gap and go into a gentle rotation. Now, you may have range to go all the way to the floor, but try and see if you can just hold your weight more in your arm and then coming up. That would be now my right hand going through. I'm doing the work in the left arm, holding and bending and then straightening back out. So I believe in full body movement or holistic approach of looking at the body, because even though you've got some symptom happening somewhere, in this case at your hip, there are plenty of other contributing factors that are either going to help it ease or are making it worse. So we want to address the entire system, and that's what we're doing. All right, and then coming from here, we're going to lie you down onto your front body. And as we do, we're just going to place the hands under the forehead line and then begin by lifting the front of the head up, just looking forward onto the edge of your mat, and just let the shoulders sink away from your ears, and then lower your body back. And then repeating that, just feeling the front of your chest bone starting to get lighter as you lift into your upper back, and then returning down. So it's quite important that your lower body is relaxed here so the heels can flop out. We're not engaging the glutes at the moment. We're just working into our upper back, also known as the thoracic spine. And then again, one more time, bringing you up and lowering you down. So from here, we'll keep our head low towards our hands. If you don't like flat hands, you can stack forward onto two fists. And then from here, I'm just going to do that just to make sure my shoulders are well relaxed. We're going to go into a single leg lift. So just livening the leg up, hovering your knee just away from the floor, and then lowering it back down, and then repeating on the other side. So as we do this, we want to make sure that you, one, don't cramp in the back of the leg. So if you over point the toe and overreach the leg, then you're going to be using way too much effort. So just feeling like the front of the thigh is lengthening, the back of the thigh is shortening essentially, because it's doing the actual physical work of raising the leg up and down. So again, building the strength into these legs, that's so vital to make sure that that hip bursitis is not an ongoing issue for you. And then one more as we stretch the opposite side. Now it's up to you. You can keep doing alternating ones. We're just going to do another 4. But we're going to try for the double legs. So whenever we do the doubles, it's going to be a little bit more challenging, which means your upper body will focus a little bit more strength, and then lowering the legs down. So by that, I mean there will be a gentle, pressing into the floor from the upper body to support the weight of the legs lifting and lowering. So 2 more times, raising them up. In your mind, think of the 2 legs floating off evenly and down evenly, being at the same height as each other. And I say in your mind because 1, I don't really want you to be looking, but 2, maybe sometimes you feel there's a discrepancy between them. All right, from here, we're going to flip over onto your back again. And as we do, like we began in the beginning, we're just going to find our settled position. Pull your knees towards you, 1 hand on each knee, and we're going to make leg circles. So just rolling the legs around, stirring them into the hip sockets. And again, I'm just doing 3 in each direction and then moving them around in the opposite direction. So one of the things that's really useful again is to open the leg out and in, which we've done. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do it in a lying position. So you're going to bend into your left knee, straighten out your right leg, and pull your toes back towards you. From here, keeping your heel on the ground to start, slide your leg out to the side. Maintain your foot position so your toes are up to the ceiling, and then bring that leg back in. And again, opening out. Now, if this produces pain inside of the hip, then don't go as far or go to the point before there's pain. And if there's just consistent pain, avoid doing this movement. I'll go 1 more time as you push out to the side and back in. So we're going to do a second round. Keep your heel on the ground if you want to, or for a little bit more effort, you're going to just hold the leg up into the air. And then from there, we do the same action, opening and closing. Now, in order to keep that leg away from the ground, there's a lot of work that's happening all around the leg muscles and the core control to open and close the leg, and then rest down. We're going to switch legs because, as I mentioned, we want to do both sides. And then again, keeping your toes pulled up toward you, heel on the ground, and slide your leg away and bring it back. So as we're doing this movement, make sure you're not dropping your knee out to the side and then coming back in. Take note of what your shoulders are doing. Do they want to round and support you? If they are, really push open the arms to the ceiling, palms to the ceiling, and feel your chest widen. And then take a break. So our last 4, again, if you want to, foot is off of the floor. So we just have the leg in a slight hover, and again, out to the side and back in. It's really important that you forget that range, or the wider you go, the better it is not true, right? So the more stability that we can create on the non-moving leg, and the control is what is more essential. And then resting from there. Again, we're just going to flip over onto an all fours position. Now, for this next one, I am going to be in a kneeling shape. If you can't do this kneeling, the alternative and the best version, to be fair, is a squat from standing. But just for today, we're going to do it in kneeling. So you're going to go and take your toes into a tuck position. And then from here, we're going to drop the bottom down, reach the arms forward, and then push yourself back up. And again, reaching arms long, dropping heels, and then return. So this is going to be great because it's going to address the foot with your toes in the tuck. If for any reason your toes are not happy that way, flatten the feet out. You will do the same movement. You will get lower. So if your knees are not great, being up on the toes is better. If your knees are good, keep your feet flat. So there are plenty of alternatives, and it's really important that you can decide for yourself which one works best. All right, and then I'm going to face towards you just to finish with a little twist, side bend, sorry. So go with a nice widening position of your knees and then sliding one hand down your leg and the other arm all the way over and then bringing yourself up. And we do the same to the opposite side. So fingers sliding down the leg and then back up. And then one more time to each side. Very simple moves, but really important to address the entire system. All right, and then from there, we are going to be done. I hope you enjoyed it. Bear was fascinated today. He loved being on camera with you, probably obscuring your vision a lot, but it's his birthday today, just by the way. So he's a little bit excited. Yes, you are. All right, so I hope that helps you understand what bursitis is, what to avoid. So go back to the first chapter if you can't remember, and then all these strengthening exercises to help you feel better. We look forward to seeing you in another video soon, and remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of those things. I love helping people move better, feel better, and live better. So if you ever have a recommendation or a request, just hit me up with a comment and I'd be happy to make a video for you. Have a great day.